What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk to you about Opendoor. I want to go over some of the data points, break it down on what is really moving it, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So Opendoor is down 4.16%, 725 the low, 758 the high, and 21 million shares being traded. So extremely low volume. As far as what is causing all this disruption in the broader market, a lot of that is stemming from analysts as well as the actual data. So today we did have PCE and also Michigan consumer sentiment coming in, both in line with the forecast. So the market doesn't really know how to really interpret this. And at the same time, you have analysts that's kind of speaking on the macro standpoint, and a lot of them are saying that yesterday, so Thursday's rally, which was absolutely epic, that was largely because of the market prematurely pricing in a 25 basis point cut. So at the time doing this video, there is a 87.2% likelihood of a 25 basis point cut. And I think a lot of that optimism from yesterday was Besant saying that, hey, we are going to most likely get a cut for December as well as January. So of course, the market's going to say, sure, yay, let's do that. And let's start to price it in. A lot of analysts are saying, hey, cool it, like that might not happen just yet. Because we kind of know how Powell is, right? He's all about data. And so far, the data has been somewhat mixed. Even this week alone, we had ADP, which would justify a rate cut, but then we also had initial jobless claims and challenger job cuts, completely the polar opposite. Powell doesn't like gray. So I think Powell might be premature, and hopefully I'm not jinxing it, but I have a weird feeling Powell is going to screw over the market and not do any cut. Hopefully I'm wrong. But again, if that is the case, then you're going to see the market throw a little bit of a temper tantrum. So let me know your general thoughts on that in the comments below. One thing that could potentially be still coming out today was this. So Trump commented on this yesterday, saying that he's going to be talking with both Mexico and Canada in regards to trade. That is something that we haven't had any updates on in a while. And if they somehow are able to reduce some of the tariffs, then that would be a massive stimulant for the broader market. So again, that's going to be something hopefully we hear about during the actual trading day, and it doesn't come out somehow Sunday or something. But nonetheless, today, no SEC filings, no press releases associated to Opendoor. Even on social media, CAS management have been fairly quiet. And as I kind of alluded to in my last video, the reason why they are quiet is they're trying to move away from the cult mentality. That's just my interpretation, of course, because I think by doing that, they might get shorts off their back momentarily. So that's probably why they are quiet. CAS did comment on one thing that I really like CAS. And so, for instance, Frank commented or posted something about, I guess, him doing some Etsy posters and whatever. CAS just said that he won't retweet, but he will buy one. This is like, I have the utmost respect for CAS. Initially, I was hesitant, as I kind of mentioned, but he's definitely warmed on me, and I like kind of his plan, his vision. It gives very much Vlad from Robinhood vibes. And initially, though, like Wall Street didn't really like Robinhood either. Now, like, they love him. So I think the same is going to happen with Opendoor. You just have to deal with a couple months worth of crap. Wall Street hating Opendoor, and then eventually, once Opendoor actually proves itself, then things will kind of move higher from here. Looking at the shorts, so shorts are returning about 203,000 shares, 13.67% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 106 million shares overall being shorted. So I saw some people online saying that technically these numbers are incorrect. So it's not 13.67% and so forth. Just keep in mind, all of this is kind of moving parts, right? So technically this is just a formula that is feeding off of this. So the free float, it does show 782.32 million. With the whole warrants, that adds a certain level of grayness. And I do believe that a lot of platforms such as Ortex and Fintel, they have kind of included those warrants, or at least some of them, in this. I could be wrong, but it does show right now 953.43 for the shares outstanding, and then 782.32 million for the free float. So again, if you do feel that this is not accurate at all, then technically this short interest number would be incorrect as well. So do your own due diligence, of course. When it comes down to the options, 2.7 million in calls, 511,000 in puts, and 51% of all the options being done are bearish in nature. So kind of weird to see. Coming from a bull standpoint, you see a consensus for it to be roughly around that 750. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub 7. With today being Friday, just take notice of this. So this is all the open interest. Best case scenario would have been nice for Opendoor to close above 750 or even 8, because you have 26,000 at the 750, 27,000 at the 8. But given kind of the price action, it does look like the market just wants to kind of suppress. But if you actually do look at this, so these are some of the transactions occurring on the secondary market, it actually paints a different picture. It does show that big money is buying. Not crazy, but based on the volume, you see about 5 transactions, all of which are buys. So this is, again, how powerful algorithmic trading truly is, because shorts are returning, big money is buying, but yet the stock price is still down. So algorithmic trading, this day and age, is the most powerful thing out there. Looking at this, so these are all the transactions occurring on the dark pool above $100,000. Big one for today is 3.09. And again, so forth and so forth. It does look like hedge funds are fairly active today. So a lot of the hold numbers, that's usually hedge funds. With it right now at 726, it is trading between this pivot and this S1. So it did have some good momentum initially. 747 is going to be that key pivot though. So best case scenario, like Opendoor would have closed above that to continue its good momentum. But looks like today wants to be a little bit of a consolidation day. Aside from that though, on the actual chart itself, you see it right now kind of wedge bound between that 10 and also that 100-day moving average. It did really fail to hold that 50-day moving average. So I think I did a video on December the 4th saying that it needed to get above that. Regrettably, it kind of just bounced off of that and kind of moved a little bit lower, which usually does happen. So today, again, could be more of a consolidation day, because anytime you bounce off of a key support or resistance point, usually causes some like level of consolidation. So today might be just a consolidation day, and then come next week, we attempt that 50-day moving average again. But right now we are below that 10-day moving average. So it's nothing too crazy. Stochastic RSI is at 57, so it's not overbought nor oversold. No new analyst ratings, as you can kind of see right over there. And then looking at the market position, you don't see much change from yesterday, just a little bit more willing buyers between, looks like, or willing sellers between that 780 and 760. So that's probably why Opendoor did bounce off of that 758 for the high today. But aside from that, you can see from this, the flow, this shows algorithmic trading is once again a very powerful force. So I think overall, we've seen somewhat mixed data for this week. But if you do believe that we are going to get a cut next week, then buy the dip, do what you need to do, look at options. I know I've mentioned this time and time again. When you are betting against the direction of the market, if you buy for instance, a call, you can make some very good money. And this is, again, some people say don't do options or whatever else. When Opendoor was at $6, I think it was flirting even with the kind of high 5s. I said, hey, you know what? Realistically, if you feel that Opendoor can get to, I think I gave 750 as an example, you can make easily like, I think it was like 80-90% on a option versus X amount with the common stock. So you can make a lot of good money. So even right now with it at 720 something, if you feel $9 is on the table, which is a 24% increase just on the common stock, if you feel it's going to be there by January, that is an 84.05% increase. So consider options. Again, I'm not here to get you to buy nor sell. All I'm doing is just bringing awareness. Sometimes that needs to be done, right? People get so caught up in the day-to-day and they have so much emotion in investing. Sometimes you just need to take a step back, interpret the data, and sometimes make a bold move through a option. But that's how you make some serious money. Again, you guys do whatever the hell floats your boat. One final thing though, pop over to my Patreon if you are looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto. I put up daily day trades, numerous swing trades. Worthwhile to pop over there and check that out. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.